Welcome to the Nerds of Comedy. I am Sean Devereaux.
And I am Hillary Stallings.
We are, it still burns you up inside now that she's a co-host.
She's been really trying to get my job.
She really has. She has been lobbying hard for it. But we are here inside of the Push Comedy Theater to talk about a very special movie.
Yes, we are.
One of probably my top 5 movies of all time. I
didn't know that. I did not know this. For top 5.
I've been thinking about this for the past couple of days when we decided we were going to do this. We're doing Rear Window today by Alfred Hitchcock. We're doing a little Alfred Hitchcock duology, I guess. We did Psycho last week. Now we are doing Rear Window.
Yes, and I will promise you this. Sean doesn't know this. I'm still going to be lobbying to do Dial M for Murder. That's how much I've been in love with Alfred Hitchcock.
I'm down with that, too. Yeah. Let's do it.
We will. But Rear Window, which I have a hard time saying, Rear Window, is the one that we did. And holy crap.
So we were talking about what we were watching and stuff like that, and you brought up Rear Window.
Yeah, I put in Rear Window, and if you know anything about me, and people that do know me, I'll tell you this. I don't stay awake during movies.
No.
I fall asleep. I live hard, so when I watch movies, I tend to fall asleep. But I tend to, if I love it, I'll try to pick it up again the next day. Not an ounce of sleep in this movie. Like sat up in my sofa and talked to you right away about it and heard your huge, quick response to me. Is like, Brad, how did you not know that? He just asked me right off the air. He said, had you not seen it before? I said I would bring it up on the air. I think I had, but I've told you during the story, I honestly think it was one of those movies that I pretended I had seen.
Yeah.
Where it had come on before and I knew a little bit about it or had seen scenes. No, I hadn't really seen it. And when I saw it, like, awakened me. I think maybe one of the finest films I've ever watched. How about that?
It is. Again, I fell in love with this. I think I was in high school. I was a nerdy theater kid in high school. You know, I had seen Psycho. I think I had seen North by Northwest, The Birds. All my friends, were big Hitchcock fan because we were all douchey theater kids. So what I had been doing is I would go to the library and you could check out movies from the library on VHS because we're old.
Yeah.
So I had gotten Psycho, then I got North by Northwest, and then Vertigo, which we'll talk about another time. Not my favorite.
I haven't seen it. It's my next on my list. Yeah.
But it was more, I really like these movies, but I was watching them more so I could talk to my friends and sound somewhat intelligent until I got to Rear Window.
Jesus.
And holy cow, even as like a 16-year-old dipshit, this movie blew me away.
And I don't have that really to talk about. I only have, as a middle-aged man, seeing this movie, and I might go as far to say some of the scenes, the visuals I saw, I'm sorry to be this guy. That's the best I've ever seen.
Yeah. And just such a mastercraft. We've been drinking tonight. I got courtesy of 80/20 Burger Bar.
Exactly.
We're going to give them a little shout out.
We've got some Fireball tonight, and we're going to go in. And by the way, we've been really looking forward to this, and he's told me to keep this to 25 minutes. Good luck.
Yeah.
Because so let's jump in. Let's just go with this. How much did I fall in love with Grace Kelly is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Number one, she's beautiful.
Absolutely.
She's got a little sass to her.
Oh, my gosh. The scene where she's like, I'm done with you. If you're not going to let me go on the road with you and be a photographer, I'm done. He goes, oh, is that it? Is that it? And she goes, no, I'll see you tomorrow night. And you're like, come here, girl. Come here. I think you're the sweetest. And by the way, come on.
Oh, yeah.
I have nothing. I don't know who I have more of a crush on.
Well, just the opening 2 minutes, just a masterclass in storytelling where they tell you everything that has happened to him just by the camera just kind of panning around the room and then ending up with him in his wheelchair with his leg in a cast. So he's a photographer, and he was filming or shooting some NASCAR race or probably Formula One race or something like that.
I didn't even know that. Is that what it was?
Yeah, because they actually show the picture framed of like he caught the car as it was like barreling towards him.
You know what? Yeah. I went to go get lasagna I missed one part of that. Okay, so I have to check that out. I missed literally 1 minute of that movie.
Yeah, and so it sets up that he's a photographer, and I think there's even the broken camera on like a bookcase or something. So it literally gives you everything you need to
And I didn't even see all of that and still knew. Yeah, that was just great.
So yeah, he's a photographer. He's laid up for a few weeks now.
6 weeks, I think it is.
Yeah, because his leg is broken all the way. The cast goes all the way up to his hip. But back to Grace Kelly. Yeah, she's just so amazing. So kind of take charge, like does all his kind of legwork.
Absolutely.
Because he's trapped in this room.
And sorry, we're going to dork out because like right there, I want to go to Grace Kelly, but what he just brought up, I have to bring up. Rewind. The exposition for me was the woman, and I'm sorry, I don't know her character's name right now, the woman that's his caretaker.
Housekeeper slash
she
nurse,
massages him and stuff.
Yeah.
She's so awesome because she's like, he's telling her that he doesn't want Grace Kelly. Yeah. And she's like, you need to grow up.
Look, Mr. Jeffries, I'm not an educated woman, but I can tell you one thing. When a man and a woman see each other and like each other, they ought to come together. Wham.
But let's get to it. Yeah. He's looking out the window. And he is, by the way, brilliant. What you talked about a photographer. He has a photographer's brain, too. Mm-hmm. He's a visual. He's a voyeur.
Yeah, he sees everything. And what's amazing about this entire movie is set in one room.
Oh, my. You're right.
Everything is set in
Is the whole thing in one room?
Everything is set in that one room, and he's looking out onto this courtyard of his apartment complex.
And his neighbors.
So
let's do it right now. The ballet woman who I could watch every morning because she's got this adorable, and I'm sorry, I'll talk like I talk, adorable behind that's always bouncing. Mm-hmm. And you can always see his face where he just, every time he looks in that room, he's just a little bit happy. But she's got suitors that are not good for her.
Yeah.
That we never talk to them.
Yeah, we never hear any of their conversations or anything like that. It's just all that we see going on through the window.
The men don't have good intentions with her a lot of times. Yeah.
Then there is the guy living below her is piano or above her is a
piano.
Musician.
The piano guy that gets drunk the one night and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's always like writing music.
And you have, of course, let's get to the. Is this the MacGuffin? I was wondering about this earlier. I wanted you to describe. We said this in our last show, but we do something called the improvised movie. He's in charge of this whole thing where it's a movie made up in front of your eyes. But he teaches us a lot about movies when we have to go in it because we have to know the tropes and the themes. I was wanting to ask you this on the air. Is the MacGuffin the murder in this one? Because I think it is.
Well, no, I would say so. Raymond Burr plays this man that
Perry Mason
that they think has murdered his wife.
Yeah,
I think his wife is the MacGuffin because that's who they're looking for.
Yeah, because they call out. There's not a big mystery to this, guys. We're not really ruining the story when we say this to you. Yeah,
he notices that they're kind of like the battling Bickersons. They're always arguing with each other, Raymond Burr and his wife, and then something happens one night, and Jimmy Stewart thinks he sees Perry Mason.
Hold for 1 second because I want you to not forget where you are. To rewind because we're dorking out. What he's saying, if you haven't seen this movie, is he's voyeuring up and watching these people like TV all day long. This story
that's all he
gets
has.
into. So sorry, go ahead.
He lives in a large one-room apartment. He has nothing to do but look out his window at all these people.
Yep. So go ahead. I apologize to cut you off.
So he wakes up in the middle of the night. I guess he hears something from across the courtyard. So he suspects this murder and starts using his camera lenses and stuff to kind of get better angles. He's trying to convince.
He's seen these suitcases leave at night.
Yes.
And they'll show that scene a lot where they'll show the alleyway, which is so cool because it's kind of like Hades, where it's like this thing that's out there, but we know it's a street and a bar, but it's always like once it gets there, he can't see any further. Or farther, I'd say, yeah.
So he's trying to convince his housekeeper and Grace Kelly that
stop with the housekeeper one. She's like, you need to stop that. You're a creepy old man. Because, remember he tells her to lean back?
Yeah.
Because they have to be in the dark where the Raymond Burr's character can't see them. And they're all against him. And Grace Kelly, who we just talked about, comes in, is against him on this voyeurism.
Except for the housekeeper. She's against him, but is always asking questions. What's going on?
So is Grace Kelly.
Yeah.
This is the best part of this whole thing is because there comes, the third day where they're all, let's get to it, we were talking about off air, engrossed in the story.
Where do you suppose he cut her up? Of course, the bathtub. That's the only place where he could have washed away the blood.
The camera work on this. This is the best visuals I've ever seen. He takes that camera and just whips you around. Because remember, we have the Raymond Burr story, which is the MacGuffin. That's why I was asking. Is this the MacGuffin of this weird tale? Because there's not a big reveal in this. There really isn't. What he thinks happened.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really not that big of a reveal. It's the story that we have to get there.
It's I mean, I would say it's a
thriller.
mystery.
They call it a thriller, yeah.
But there really isn't any thrilling moments until
he gets involved. It's voyeurism getting involved where there's
almost,
phone calls and shit.
Yeah.
It is stalkerish.
So he
It is.
So he calls Raymond Burr and says, "I know what you did.
Yeah.
Meet me at some bus station or something like
Bar.
that." Bar.
Yep.
So Raymond Burr goes running out of the apartment, which gives Grace Kelly time
And the girl, the caretaker.
the caretaker, time to go and investigate.
But time out. Remember, and this is why I love Grace Kelly. This part of the movie is my favorite part of the movie. Is that he's kind of giving her hell that she's sort of a socialite that can't be a field photographer or whatever you want to call that on the scene.
Or
adapt.
I don't even think he wants that because she's.
Oh, no, he does want that. He says you couldn't adapt with me and go to the place I go.
You couldn't go to the war zones.
But she goes and climbs. So get to where she does it, and you see the little smile on his face where he's falling in love. Because guess what?
Yeah.
I fell in love.
But this is where it gets very
scary.
Is Raymond Burr's character comes back while she's in the apartment, and Jimmy Stewart's helpless. There's nothing.
I was mad at him during that. I got manly mad at Jimmy Stewart, and how could you get mad at it? It's a story, but I was saying I was watching this with someone else, and when I was watching it, I said to them, I was like, I'd have been walking out there with one leg at that point in time.
Right.
But they did incapacitate him. Yeah. Sorry, we're dorking all around, but to get to this, and we knew we were going to run into this problem. The storytelling, the humor of the two girls in his life that are against what he's doing with as a voyeur. Because if you think about it, it's kind of gross. Yeah. He's a peep Tom. He's a glorified peep Tom. But then again, we all are a little bit of a peep Tom, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And it was that kind of thing where it's like, ooh.
And it doesn't take much to get them involved.
And they're adorable with it, Sean, and I love that. But again, I will tell you, a shot that I had remembered from the movie, that when you're saying, did I see it? I think I would have probably seen it when I was young and just forgot it, is that this moment, the camera will be let's go middle camera here, or the binoculars, is it finally, because this didn't happen the whole movie. He gets to see all these people from this point of view, but they don't, excuse me, we're drinking, is they don't get to see him. Is that this moment happens with Raymond Burr. And he stares right at his ass in the binocular, and you're like, oh, it did do that to me.
What's she trying to do? Why don't she turn him in?
She's a smart girl.
Smart girl, she'll get herself arrested.
It'll get her out of there, won't it? Look, the wedding ring.
Oh, no.
At that point,
he figured out who it was, right?
Raymond Burr figures out who's been kind of taunting him and leaving messages and breaking into his apartment. So he comes, and again, that's another really tense moment because Jimmy Stewart is
incapacitated.
He
can't fight.
Can't do anything, and he shuts off the light. So he's like trying to blind him with the flash.
That is thank you for bringing. That's a weird scene, but visually cool. Again, the visuals this man brought me to where it kind of blinds him, I guess, and then it does that weird.
It takes a second, almost like a negative film being developed back in the day. Yeah.
Yes. And if you've ever seen the Michael Crichton movie Looker, I believe they stole from this. But anyway, go on.
Whoa, that's going way back, Looker. You know what? I just tried to find that on Amazon Prime not too long ago.
We'll find this Albert Finney movie.
Yeah. Is it Lee Marvin or James Coburn?
It's Coburn.
Yeah, James Coburn.
Yeah. And
Wow,
both of
that's
those two actors,
crazy.
yeah, but I didn't think about it
Literally
until you just
the
said
past
that.
couple days, I've been trying to find that movie to watch.
It's a very above its time movie, Margot Hemingway. But anyway,
Yeah.
back to the point is,
Yeah.
this movie, I have a few people that like us from comedy. It's in there. If you like thrillers, it's in there. If you like visuals, it's in there. I'll look
If
you
you
in the
like
face and say, this
cool-
is in the top 15 movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Cool character dynamics and banter. Just again, the banter between Grace Kelly and Jimmy Stewart and his housekeeper. And again, when they're teaming up on him and
man.
calling him, a pervert but at the same time they're loving every second.
It's
They're
like
just-
TMZ, where it's like if it's really juicy, sometimes you want to watch it even though you shouldn't.
Yeah.
But
the three of those, their chemistry together
God.
as a trio is amazing.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Mr. Thorwald could scarcely put his wife's body in a plot of ground about 1 foot square. Less, of course, he put her in standing on end, and then he wouldn't need a knife and saw.
And the caretaker should deserve so much credit. And I wish I knew her name. I feel bad I'm not even doing that. But I am going to go back to one thing. I'm going to look at this camera and yell. Brad McMurran fell in love with Princess Grace. This is really the first time I've gotten in. I just saw Delilah in for Murder, which I'm trying to get him into right now. I have fallen in love, not as much as Rachel McAdams, but I mean, she is the most beautiful. And by the way, what a good actress.
She really is.
That's the part I like about her. Forget the fact she's obviously a goddess, but she's such a good actress.
She really and just adorable and like
She's not going to take it. Oh, and Scandalous. We didn't get to the part about Scandalous. She brings the briefcase over with her nightie in it where she can travel.
yeah.
And the detective sees it and kind of gives him crap about like that there's a woman going to spend the night out of wedlock.
Especially a woman 21 years your junior or something like
Which
that.
doesn't
Not
get
that
bring
big
up
a-
much then,
Not that
yeah.
big of a deal back then. Oh, not really
It
that
should
big
have
of
been.
a deal now.
I know some people that have that difference, but I'd still say that like it was enough I looked up.
Yeah.
She was 25. He was my age, I think, when they were doing it. So it was like, whoa. But having said this, their chemistry was dynamite.
It really was.
Yeah.
And then again, it was all these kind of little stories wrapped up at the end. The Lonely Heart woman. I think don't they call her Miss Lonely Heart? Or the
I think
neighbor?
they do. Who
She-
tries to kill herself in the movie.
But then she hears the piano player playing a song, and it kind of like brings her back, and they two meet.
Oh my God. Yeah, I forgot that even happened.
This super hot
Ballerina. She's adorable.
who has all these male suitors hitting on her left and right, and she's just ignoring them all.
Oh no,
batting them off.
not the one on the mattress. There's
Finally,
one that we didn't even
her
mention.
boyfriend
It's on the
returns
ground.
from the Navy.
Suntan's weird.
Yeah, he's
And
like
she's just
5
suntan weird,
foot
where like he never really got to know her
just this,
story. Where it almost
little
leads to like
short, kind of
that's the
nerdy
next story he'll look
looking
into
guy, and she's
because
just mad
and we have to
in the
talk
middle
about
of
it.
head
Well,
over
we have to
heels.
talk about it.
Yeah, so
Let's get to the finale. Yeah.
Yeah, back to that fight scene with Raymond Burr. He gets Raymond Burr throws him
Out the window.
just as like the police are showing up. He's hanging out the window and he loses his grip and falls. And you think, oh my God.
And very similar shot to Psycho. There's
Yeah.
the one I was going to talk about. That kind of like,
Yeah.
North by Northwest too. But yeah.
Yeah, and Vertigo as well. Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
but the very next scene is he's back in his apartment in his wheelchair, but now he has both legs.
Both legs are there. And by the way, he's leaning towards that story where I'm like, there's his next adventure.
Yeah. So that is Rear Window. If you've never seen this movie, please go search it out. If you have seen this movie, go watch it again. Like I said, every time I watch it, I find new little things going on in the background of this movie. It's such an amazing movie.
Yeah,
There's
it's a little
so
bit of
many
everything.
cool little moments.
And he put it in his top 5, and he said his list changed, but I put it in my top 15. You're not going to get much better reviews from the two of us than that, too.
No,
I mean, with the
it's-
exception of course, Star Trek Truth of Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan is your number one.
Yeah.
It's up there with the Muppet movie for me. That's one of my favorites. All right, so for the nerds of comedy / the mystery nerds, I'm Sean.
And I am Brad Stallings.
It still really bugs you, doesn't it?
Really, really starting to get on my nerves with the amount of attention she's getting. Guys, I'm a ham, and it's a pandemic. And I'll tell you right now, it's time to do it. Jimmy, you go see this movie.
That's your Jimmy
That's
Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart.
We
Grace
got-
Kelly. I will marry you. You are absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. I missed that I didn't get to grow up on you.
I think she's dead. We're going to catch you next week.